All right, welcome to another Zen Rose Garden Pro Tip series. Coming up in this video, empathic communication, which includes empathic understanding, empathic responses, and empathic listening skills.
There's a lot of empathy up in here.
Can you listen with real empathy?
Yes.
Do you maybe find yourself overwhelmed when you're around people? Is it possible to control, strengthen, train, and use your empathic abilities in a way that allows you to truly listen and respond with empathy without getting burned out?
Today is the fourth. This is the fourth video in our series on the gift of empathy.
And you can find the whole playlist down below.
And I really like to call this the gift of empathy because so many times that we have a negative reaction when we talk about empathy in the spiritual community. And we decided to do this series for our hashtag YouTube fam, because even though we get so many questions about how it can get out of control, we sometimes forget that the gift of empathy is part of what makes you beautifully human.
Right. In the last video, we talked about mirror neurons. I'm going to take that one because Heather has a hard time saying it.
I do.
A recent important discovery that helps explain how we can see each other and feel each other in a very fast and efficient way. We have the ability to feel, then reason it, and then act accordingly.
So true empathy, the whole gift, is really a three-part process. But in the spiritual community, sometimes we get stuck in the first one.
Right.
So today we are talking about how to use this gift for deepening relationships,
right, in
both personal areas and in your professional life and in your casual life, just walking to the store.
Because life is all about relationships, right?
Relationships are what make life rich. So your most important one is with yourself, of course, but nothing beats being able to share moments with others, right?
So this can be a few meaningful moments with a stranger, or that relationship with a lifelong friend.
And we need this range of relationships and connections that make us feel great. And because we are social creatures.
And it has been shown that a good, empathically healthy social life is one of the top 5 keys to living a long and happy and healthy life.
And that's important. It's our social interaction with others has been shown to centenarians, for all that, like the Blue Zone books. I don't know if you've read those, but that's one of the top 5 ways that they have in common is a healthy social life. So
yes. Now that we've totally flipped the pancake over, we want to know.
I want you to put in the comments a name of a person that has shared the most life with you.
And this doesn't have to be length.
Right. The person you know the best, somebody that you cherish, put their name or their initials if you don't want to shout them out, that you shared the most life with.
I got a couple of them.
That you feel the most connected to, somebody that's really special to you. I want you to shout them out.
I'm going to shout out Heather.
All right. That's good.
We start the empathy journey with active feeling, right? That part is easy. That is why you're here, right? This is the Klingon mind. This is the feeling, the really rich feeling life.
Right. It's like
great, glorious battle. Oh,
right. Well, we either want to overfeel or we want to kill someone. So the emotional empathy that we talked about a few days ago. Then after you've gotten through those first stages of emotional and somatic empathy, which is the information part. It's telling you how someone's feeling, literally.
On a very fast way.
And we've moved into cognitive empathy, which we talked about. We move into the active observing.
And this is our Vulcan mind.
So cognitive empathy is active observing. And this is where we can start to step out of the emotional reaction into the, what is this relationship going to be like? Is that relationship a few seconds, a moment, observing, sending them a smile? Is it a lifelong thing? This is the active observing stage. So when we're in our Vulcan mind, right, we know that the feeling is not ours. So we step back and we actively observe the other. Right. Okay. The person might be hurting, drowning in their emotions.
Maybe even attacking us.
Right. So they might even be like a confrontational thing.
We observe that they're not really, that they are not really attacking us, but they are really hurting somewhere. And this is going to automatically open up our compassionate empathy.
Right. So allowing us to slowly go through these stages of empathy gets us from the Klingon mind to the Vulcan mind of actively observing how they're really hurting into the compassionate empathy of now what's my role in this, or what do I want my role to be, right? And that's the sweet spot, because we can now start actively listening.
Yes.
And this might be that 5 minutes on a bus where you say one thing that changes something for this person in a positive direction, or they might have something beautiful for you to say.
Yeah.
Right.
So what are some ways that you can connect empathically in a healing way?
So we're going to give you
3 simple techniques, and they are as follows.
The first one is your body language. Your language.
You're good with that one.
Language and your energy. So the first one is your body language.
Oh boy.
The first one is body language and energy. So if we're stuck in the first stage of emotional empathy, we might be going, that body language isn't what we want, right?
No.
If we are open, we smile,
make eye contact,
we're warm, then the person can relax, right? So if we come to the situation with an open body language and an open energy, that automatically right there, by just smiling and being open, automatically starts to diffuse the overactive emotions of the other person.
Right. And this is where those mirror neurons are happening automatically.
So just know, because we talked about mirror neurons yesterday, our mirror neurons are automatically already happening with this person. They've been active for a minute, right? So just let them do what they're going to do. When we open all we got to do is open our body language, smile, open our energy to be receptive to this person. We're going to automatically start mirroring them.
And they're going to start mirroring us.
So if we allow it and we stop going like this, we'll automatically kind of mirror what they do, mirror their...
it's going to set the stage.
Yeah, and that endears us to other people, and it helps them open up to release some of their pent-up frustration or anger.
So body language and energy, if you come more open, then the situation becomes more open. The next one is phrase repetition. Okay. And this can take some practice to get really good at, but basically you're repeating the significant parts of a conversation verbatim. That's all you really have to do, is just repeat those significant parts of a conversation, and it's automatically going to get this person to start to trust you and build rapport. It's a good thing.
So these might be good tips if you're a con artist as well. But if we're talking about the empathic healing that you can do in your daily, everyday interactions,
use the powers for good.
So if you are talking to someone and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm really angry," you can do this.
You're really angry.
Yeah, this works really well with children too. If a little kid is like, "I'm really angry," you go, "Oh, I see that you're really angry." Immediately, you can open up that little child into discovering why they're angry, because now somebody sees that they're angry and acknowledges their emotion
without judgment.
And when us as adults are in the feels, we're kids.
Yep.
We need somebody to say, "I see that you're angry."
And it's okay.
Because that's the first step. That's the first step for us to know that someone sees me, number one. And if they see me, there's probably some help out there for me. Whatever it is, you might be having like a meltdown because your quarter got stuck in the candy machine. But whatever the meltdown is, someone sees you.
Right. So they see you and they're not judging you. Okay. So body language and energy is the first. The second one is phrase repetition, repeating the significant parts of a conversation back to the person verbatim. And like I said, that can take some practice to get good at. And then the third one is emotional validation.
And this is a slightly different than the phrase repetition.
Yes.
So phrase repetition doesn't necessarily have to be, "I see that you're angry." It might be they're talking to you about, my grandma and my mom got in a fight. You might say something like, "Okay, so your grandma and your mom got in a fight. Then what happened?"
Right.
So phrase repetition is sort of, you're repeating back, letting the person know that you heard them and you're listening.
Yes.
You're actively, empathically listening.
Right.
So the emotional validation is...
Emotional validation is basically where you are acknowledging and validating this person's emotion. Just because they're having an emotion doesn't mean that it's directed towards you. So for example, with the anger element, okay, we were talking about anger just a moment ago. Okay, I see that you're angry. It's okay to be angry.
And it might come in the form of, I would be angry too. If a person is saying, I'm really angry at my, you might say, I would be kind of angry in that situation too.
Right.
What do you think you're going to do?
This is not rationalizing their emotion for them. Okay. The person is going to work out their own emotion. You don't have to give a solution. Just give them permission.
So I know that we've talked about it before, but your subconscious is working billions of times faster than your conscious mind. So I guarantee that the person's mind is already working out the solution. They already know the solution, but not consciously.
Right.
So all you have to really do is help the person validate that it's okay that they're feeling angry. It's a natural human emotion, but they're going to get through it. So if you just say, I might be angry too in that situation. What are you going to do next? That will usually get them to talking through the emotion. And like I said, this could be a 5-minute conversation with someone in the bus who's having a bad day,
right?
Or your best friend that you've known for 50 years.
Right.
So
what you are not trying to do is you are not trying to save anyone. Put your Captain Save-A-Ho shirt away. You are just practicing connecting as a human in a very human and empathically beautiful way.
And this is kind of the very simple human process that we kind of forget when we're trapped in our own emotions, which are usually the reaction to somebody else's emotion.
Yeah, right.
And this is how to turn that into something really beautiful.
The gift.
And a gift and a connection with another human being.
And I love how Chelsea says, honestly, I love being empathic.
Yes.
So do we. It's a natural human thing to connect to other people. So the process can get damaged as we go through and live life, right?
We get beat up and we get afraid. And that's
natural process.
But that's life. But at the end of the day, we evolved over billions of years from the first moment of creation to connect, to engage, to love, and to uplift each other. And by so doing, we uplift ourselves.
We are literally designed to do this naturally from our bodies, our brains, our energy, and our consciousness all evolved this way. We're going to blow some science here in just a moment that's going to show you how from even a cellular level we are designed to do this.
And okay, so this
story time.
We joke about this story because we say this could be the sciencey real Adam and Eve story, the creation story of all creation stories.
As we go through this story, let us know in the comments what your take is on it. Okay, we're just going to drop this story and we want to hear from you what your take is as we go through it.
Once upon a time, more than 1.45 billion years ago, mitochondria evolved. Okay. At that point in the primordial soup of the earth, bacteria were just floating around. Different kinds of bacteria, lots and lots and lots and lots of different kinds of bacteria. Basically,
so it was already diverse.
It was like simple life, right? One-celled life for a long, long time. And those bacteria ate other bacteria. And that's what they did because that's where they get their energy, right?
It was about consumption. It was about eating, gaining energy so that you can continue living.
It still is. We're just a lot fancier with it. Basically, all the single-celled bacteria lived alone. It was like one big singles world.
Then one day,
one cell was going along and another cell
engulfed a different type of cell, but did not get eaten.
So
they were like, I think we'll just cuddle instead.
So something totally different happened.
Boom, something magic happened.
It became this like host and symbiotic thing. It was like,
I'll hold you.
A new thing.
I don't want to eat you. You're my friend.
So instead of being lunch in that moment, 1.45 billion years ago, this union formed a symbiotic relationship and developed into the first mitochondrion.
Then, boom, life as we know it happened. This is the first non-violent connection.
So it's basically the first empathic merging of two totally separate energies. And it's really interesting because it was like all single-celled, simple life before, but that was the beginning of complex life on Earth.
When they decided to cuddle instead of destroy.
So they were like, instead of attack, it was like, it was like this total empathic union. And from that made possible complex life to begin to be formed. Plants, cell, beginning primitive plants. And
so that's kind of like the real Adam and Eve story, right? On a cellular bacteria level.
And then vegans were born that eat the plants. And then then
that's a whole different thing.
Then here we are.
So we want to know how your geek meter is right now.
So now it's poll time. We always like to see what you guys think. Can empathy be learned, or do you have to be born with it?
Let us know yes or no. And if you're feeling really sassy and funky, give us why.
Access your inner mitochondria.
Access your inner mitochondria.
You didn't even know what I was going to say. You were trying to
I just mirrored you.
Yeah.
And phrase repeated. Right.
We find that when you understand the function of the mystical parts of your brain, you kind of get both sides of it, it becomes a hell of a lot easier to access
without getting overwhelmed.
And to really use that gift of empathy.
Right. Scientifically blown 100. Thank you, Cheryl. Yes. Chelsea says, I love this. LOL, your guys' stories are the best. Thank you.
Is that not like the first Adam and Eve story? Because it's like,
sounds like it to me.
Like Aphrodite, that was a creation story, how he cut out and then she came out of the ocean. And then Adam and Steve with their rib.
Anybody can learn, but it's easier for those who are born with it.
Right.
New age. Welcome to the new age. Okay. In all seriousness, totally digging the as above, so below that you guys just accomplished. Well done.
Nice.
Awesome. Chelsea says, I think it can definitely be learned, especially from being around those that are empathetic and seeing how that person is. Exposure can do a lot.
And awesome. I think the learning to be empathic is learning how to use your already embedded skills of empathy, because we're born with empathy, but we either close it down or we overinflate it.
Unless you are literally born psychotic.
Well, if you're a psychopath, then you don't really have empathy.
That's what I mean. If you were born with psychopathy, that's the only reason that you wouldn't be able to feel.
Everybody has a little bit of psychopathy. It's like when you're completely psychopath, you're kind of born without the ability to be empathic.
Right. So we are living in a new age where we actually do know how this stuff works. You just have to strip away all that speculation, be as healthy as you can.
And grow your brain and chill out and tap in without fear.
This is video number 4 of 7 on the gift of empathy. Stay tuned for more empathic badassery in the next video. And Sarah says, I bet y'all have so much fun together. We have a blast. This is my friend and my partner and everything. We absolutely love geeking out with each other. We love hanging out. We love cuddles and snuggles, just like mitochondria. Denise says, so going to put all this great info to use. I have a habit of always trying to save everyone when they come to me with all their problems.
I think that a lot of us do that before we realize people really know the answer within themselves. You just have to kind of give them permission to get to it.
Yep. And then Becky says, I learned cuddling is magical enough. Tip, create worlds.
To create worlds.
Hashtag Cuddlebug World Domination. For more live hangouts, behind the scenes secrets, and mind hacking pro tips. I'm supposed to do this. Mind hacking pro tips.
Be sure to subscribe.
And spank that bell to turn notifications on.
So you will never have to actually remember.
When we drop a new video.
Or go live.
Drop a new video. Damn it. Okay, go. We know that time is a valuable and precious resource, and the fact that you guys have chosen to spend that with us, we honor and appreciate that. But most importantly, that you are here to level up your life, your brain, your mind, your heart. We honor and appreciate that even more. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video over here or over here.